morning and feel the glory. Wake up this morning and open my heart. I'm gonna wake up this morning and feel the glory here in the light of love. I'm gonna wake up this morning and feel the glory. Wake up this morning and open my heart. I'm gonna wake up this morning and feel the glory here in the light of love.
And welcome to 2019. Very first Sunday of the new year. Happy, happy Sunday. So we have a theme this month for responsibility. So coming into January, this is going to be the overriding theme for the rest of the month, is responsibility. The book of the month is our actual textbook, Science of Mind. Now these value for the month, book of the month, is something that our home office creates, and they get together 52 ministers, well, sometimes it's less, but 52 ministers to come up with 52 outlines for every single week of the year. And they agree on what the theme is for each month and what the weekly topic is. And prior to this organization of all of the United Centers having the same theme, ministers would just do it individually, whatever they wanted to talk about. Many would take the very first 4 weeks of the year, the month of January, and go through the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind. So that's what we have now doing with all 400 centers, are looking at those first 4 chapters. The chapter for today is called The Thing Itself. Does anyone know any of the other chapters? You can do them in order or not. First one is Thing Itself. How it works, very good. How to use it, absolutely. What it does. And in order, the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. This is the essence of Ernest Holmes as our founder's, his teachings. All the other books that he's written, and it's over 60 publications he's put out there, take these 4 elements in a variety of different ways. There's a minister in Seattle, Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis, who said, you know, when you really get down to it, Ernest Holmes had one message, that there is one God that exists inside us. We find 52 different ways to tell that one message. Because there are 52 times 52 times 52. Countless ways that we can look at that one divine essence of ourselves. Because that's where God resides, deep inside. And when we talk about the thing itself, who's got another word for the thing itself? Shout it out. Absolutely. Anything else? Universe. Anything else? Divine. Spirit. Love. Life. Beauty. Joy. You know, any of those good, beautiful, heartfelt words are words for God, words for the divine. You could say Sam, Sally, Herman. It doesn't make a difference. The word that is used to describe this overall essence is the thing itself. Because what happens when we try to put a name to it, put a word to it, we create a limitation. If it is this, it's not this. So in the Yahweh, you know, that which shall not be named. Because you can't. You can't. There's this beautiful, beautiful thought of this total, all-encompassing something. And when I try to say God, sometimes people have a negative image. Sometimes they look at a person because we have personified this entity. We understand what a guy with a great big beard and a big robe and a beautiful throne, we know what that looks like. We know how to understand that. But is that God? Not the God I grew up with. I was raised Christian Science, so I was raised metaphysics. And I had to work to understand this whole image of one person because I was brought up with universal energy. Funny little story, when my husband and I first started going to CSL, The minister there was Dr. David Bruner from San Jose, very well known in our organization. And he's talking about this whole concept of this great big guy in the sky and in his big robe and in his big long beard. And my husband starts chuckling. I mean, just the shoulders are going, and he's doing his best to hold back this laughter. And I'm sitting, there's no joke here. What's so funny? And he leans over to me. Did he just say there was a great big guy in the sky with a beard? And I said, no, honey. And he's envisioning these great big steins, these big old beer steins. Could be, if that's your image. Why not? Right, exactly not. The thing itself is that divine presence. It's that energy that is. Always has been, always will be. No beginning, no end. The Alpha, the Omega. The seen and the unseen. Trying to find the actual quote that Ernest had. I put my notes out of order today. So sorry about that. There we go. So in The Science of Mind, on page 26, Ernest Holmes is talking about the study of science of mind. And he says the study of science of mind is the study of first cause. So we believe in cause and effect. So our life happens because of things that have been done to create it, and we have an effect. Well, what's the very first cause? Something had to happen before anything else happened to get the pattern going on. So first cause is another name for the divine. So the study of science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, the invisible essence, that ultimate stuff, star stuff from one of Deanna's songs, the intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself. And just saying that, I can feel that power in the room. It brought this power of creation here. One of the many books written by Ernest looks at the question of what is God and what is this power. And Ernest goes into this thing called you. We all have this creative power within us. All we have to do is remove the limitations of our human existence and experience the powers resident within us. This thing called you. This is what God is. This is the thing itself. When we look at CSL, we look at a religion that is based predominantly on the Western thinking. But the concept of this universal everything is just all pervasive. I happen to have been recently in doing some work in the Bhagavad Gita. I love this book, just love this book. This is actually an epic poem that is part of one of the Vedas from the Hindu faith. And there's a section here when Prince Arjuna, thank you, is on a battlefield. And this happens to be a battle for a kingdom. It's a classic, two family members both think that they should be king when both princes when the king dies. So they are having this massive battle. And back in the day before bombs and airplanes, they all lined up, into the middle of the battlefield, and somebody said go, and they all rushed into the middle of the field with their swords and then declared a winner at the end of it. So right before that happens, Arjuna comes onto the battlefield in his chariot, driven by the charioteer Krishna. And he's sitting in the middle of the battlefield, and he's looking at his family on the one side, and he looks at who he's ready to fight, and it's family. It's cousins, it's uncles, it's people that he's been to school with, it's folks he has confided his deepest stories to. And he starts to question himself of whether he should go to war. And he has this conversation with his charioteer Krishna, who is An avatar is how they phrase it, which is an embodiment of the god Vishnu. And in the Hindu faith, they have a three-god arrangement of Shiva, the destroyer, who takes away everything so that something new comes up, Vishnu as the protector, and then Brahman as the overall person. So Vishnu identifies himself through this conversation with Arjuna as God, as the creator. And at one point, Arjuna says, "Just as you have described your infinite glory, O Lord, how I long to see it. I want to see you as the supreme ruler of creation." Krishna responds, "Behold, Arjuna, a million divine forms with the infinite variety of color and shape. Behold the gods of the natural world and many more wonders never revealed before. Behold the entire cosmos turning within my body and the other things that you desire to see. But these things cannot be seen with your physical eyes. Therefore, I give you the spiritual vision to perceive my majestic power." Arjuna's quiet, and then, "I see infinite mouths, infinite arms, stomachs, eyes. You are the embodiment in every form. I see you in everyone without beginning, middle, or end. You are the Lord of all creation. The cosmos is your body." The thing itself. Too big to describe. Can't be seen with physical eyes. It's the sense. It's the essence of something bigger than me that is there for my good. This thing called life. This thing called God. The thing itself. The Bhagavad Gita goes on to talk about how as Arjuna is seeing this great being of light, he gets scared. He gets scared. And our own sacred text on Jesus' birth, an angel in heaven, "Fear not, a king is brought before you." When we're in the presence of such majestic power, such beautiful creativity, it's scary. It's scary. Because what it means, I can do anything. Wow. Well, if I can do anything, then there's no problems in my life. But I have problems in my life, so therefore I can't do everything, so it must not be a God. Well, no. You could make that conclusion. We get what we are able to receive, because that great, big, beautiful essence of spirit is so monstrous, so powerful, so majestic. It can't always be comprehended. So we get to believe and to see what we can see with our physical eyes. And moments happen to many of us where we see with our spiritual eyes. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to open my eyes, because my opening my eyes is my physical eyes, and keeping my eyes closed in meditation or in prayer, and just feeling this power, this beauty, this absolute love is my spiritual eyes seeing the world. And that light exists in each and every one of us. Because if God is equally everywhere present, right here inside me, right here inside me, and inside each and every one of you. And we have the ability to use this power, to use this creative energy by feeling the presence. One of the greatest gifts that Ernest Holmes gave us was what's called treatment, spiritual mind treatment, SMT for those who like acronyms. The very first step in the process is to recognize the thing itself. We just stop. You listen to Bobby's prayer. God is all there is. This beautiful spiritual energy exists right here, right now. The second step is to unite ourselves. I'm part of that. What wonder and joy is this for me to be part of the spiritual energy of the world? I'm united with the presence that I have just identified. And I speak the realization that I want in this moment in time. Let me not have a coughing spell in the middle of today's talk. So far, so good, right? That was my prayer today. It can be simple things like that. It can be world peace, the end of world hunger. It can be a beautiful, beautiful community where each and every one of us sees that inner light no matter what is manifesting on the outside. Because we are all one mind. And when we set our realization, we then right away give thanks for receiving it. Because of course we're going to receive it. There's no other choice. This is divine power. It's made the cosmos, the stars, the heavens, the moons, the mountains. 101, 280, all of these came from the spiritual energy, the creative power. So immediately give thanks for not coughing throughout the service. And let it go. Just let it go. Reverend David is who I spent about 10 years with. He would say, it's like putting a mail in the mail slot, that you go to the post office. You don't go hide in the bushes and wait to see the mailman come and pick it up. It's going to be picked up. You just let it go. Because that's how this divine energy works. I think it. My thought becomes that creative energy. I unite myself with it because I am a divine being. And then I let it go. I give thanks and I just let it go. The thing itself is where it all starts. So when we wanted to use this creative process, we affirm the creative power. Judge Thomas Troward wrote in The Creative Process in the Individual, to use the creative process, we affirm the creative power, that is to say, we go back to the beginning and start with pure spirit. Only remembering that this starting point is now to be found in ourselves. For this is what distinguishes the individual creative process from the cosmic one, from the Lord Krishna, from the Arjuna who is afraid of this great big light. We go to the individual creative process. And all thought is creative. According to its nature, impulse, emotion, or conviction, behind the thought is the mold. The mold is the idea that has been accepted and sets in power the motion according to the divine energy. The conscious mind is spirit. No one has ever plumbed the depths of the conscious mind. It reaches out to infinity, and since we cannot encompass infinity, we shall always be expanding, always enlarging our capacity to know and to experience. Start your year with the thing itself, the power. Let us pray. As I just take a moment in the silence, feel the presence. Feel my own God-given power to be the most majestic person I can be, to be united to the divine energy, to know myself as a spiritual being, first and foremost, with the exact same powers as the divine creator of all. This is my birthright. I embrace it. And I know that each and every person in this room and in this world has the same ability to embrace their own God-given power, the divine energy of themselves that creates the magnificence in this world. I have such gratitude in my heart for the divine energy I see shining back at me from this room. In gratitude for 2019, for all of you, for life, I give thanks and I let it go. Namaste.
Namaste. So it is. Thank you.